Our guest co-host today is the Europe and Arab Aviation Summit Director, Frederico Fernandes, joined us live here on the sofa. Thanks so much indeed for being with us.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and to speak about the subject that I like so much.
That's the reason we've got you here, talking all things aviation. Just before we get on to innovation on the summit and all the bits and pieces that you're involved in, the investment into technology amongst others, just talk to me on that idea of Dubai, or rather the UAE, as a bit of an aviation hub. Yep, I know that there are aviation hubs the world over where a lot of people transit through and are important airports. But is it a little bit different here? I mean, everyone just seems to be invested into aviation somehow or other.
True. UAE, especially Dubai, have changed the way that we see aviation globally. And also, at the end, changed the way that we travel. And this is pretty obvious because before this mega hub show, and 20 years ago, and before also the work that has been done by the airlines, local airlines, we traveled differently.
Yeah.
And now we travel much better. We travel with a better customer experience, and the level of reliability is unbelievably good for travelers, right? So we have three different kinds of travelers: the leisure travel, business travel, and ethnic travel. All of them find very comfortable and a very upgraded experience comparing to other geographies in the world. And this is one of the reasons behind this massive success. And I can say that because I'm European. You feel the same thing too.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not the same thing now to fly in British Airways, right? It's not because they are worse, it's because this is better.
You got used to something,
Yes,
haven't you?
yes.
Yeah, you've got used to certain standards. Yeah.
Yes, this is one of the parts of the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned something about different travels, this is something that I really want to talk about: air taxis.
Yes.
Right. So, what do you feel about that, and what are we looking forward to?
Yeah. Curiously, I'm preparing a final essay for my Master's of Science in London, and the subject is advanced air mobility, which I also like very much. And I've asked, taking advantage of my influence, I asked 50 global decision makers, where do they believe that this industry will start first? And 87% of them responded United Arab Emirates. And these are people that are leading the innovation and decision and investment process. So air taxis already exist today here. So if you want to take a very good look at Jumeirah, you find an helicopter. You just don't fly helicopters every day because it's too expensive, right? I normally say if you have $500,000 in your bank account or $1 million, you don't fly helicopters every day. This is what the new air taxis are changing, because when we talk about innovation, we talk about electricity coming into the aircraft. This will lower the costs, will make them even more safe, sustainable, and we will have more people.
Frederico, you said something very interesting, that our experiences for certain airlines has changed over the years because airlines are now enhancing their customer experience. Like we've seen it with Emirates, with Etihad, with everything. And I personally recently went on Wizz Air, which is a new airline that came here, which was cheaper to travel, but the experience wasn't as luxurious or comfortable as other airlines. So in terms of people trying to open a new startup, what's the things that they should consider, or what you're looking for in terms of what makes air travel more comfortable and more accessible for people who want to travel constantly for work or for leisure?
Well, to open a new startup, namely an airline, you need to be very brave because there are so many good people already in the market. And in fact, there is what we call the legacy airlines, that the airlines that provide the service, that the customer are expecting a little bit more than just the seat and to arrive safely to the destination, that they are the low-cost airlines where they try to have a lean operation in order to offer you the cheapest cost. So in between them, almost it's like a big hole, nothing around it. So it's very difficult because when you start, either you pick the giants or you pick the low cost when they are dealing with commodities, lower the price. So it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to start an airline, but it's possible. I've seen it happen in this last 10 years here that I've been in these programs, investment programs with the government here, namely GCA in the Ministry of Economy. We saw so many daredevils that came and did it. Yeah.
What about the challenge that aviation in general is facing at the moment? Obviously, as you mentioned a bit earlier on, people want aviation to be more efficient. They want to spend less time at the airport, they want to get onto their plane quicker, they want to get off their plane quicker at the same time. And so therefore AI technology must be a solution there. Yet, people always want reassurance as well. They want to build that trust. They want to see faces, etc. So it must be a strange sort of balancing act that airlines and airports and aviation needs to keep at the moment.
True, you are completely right. People trust the civil aviation authorities,
Yeah.
and they trust the aircraft that it's in front of us, mostly because they understand somehow that somebody is doing a great job, right? The civil aviation authorities. So AI obviously is already going around in the aviation sector, but it's not going to those fields in particular. In those fields in particular, I can assure you all, aviation is very boring. We will take a lot of years to adopt that because safety is always first. So the civil aviation authorities and the people who are controlling us, they need to understand how that works and what will happen if it fails. The first time, the second time, if it is a redundancy. So in that area, AI is not evolving very much, but when it comes to customer experience, customer consulting, assistance, even services. The other day we saw that Emirates is already looking at the gates with AI to see how the orchestra, that beautiful orchestra that goes around, the catering, the people, is working, to be able to give a sign first to the leader saying that this is becoming a little bit late, or this experience is not good enough, or this is not happening, even before that the leader on the ground can understand. So on this kind of fields, AI will be very helpful because they will be able to warn before and have a look at the things and oversee things. But in terms of commands, going here, going there, do this, do that, no, it will take some time.
No.
Frederico, I'm going to quickly move to another aspect of your career, which is investing. You're an investor. So there, as we mentioned earlier, there are a lot of startups that are coming up, but what are you looking for when investing in a startup in aviation?
It's very rare to find private investors into aviation, mostly because of these issues that we already spoke about, because certification brings the complexity into the product, so it's not easy for you to come to me and say, I just invented this, let's test it. Mostly are corporate, and this is where I started to work with, and the corporates here that invest mostly in aviation is the Emirates Group with their own innovation programs that I also been a part of, and the government, Dubai Tourism. They create an ecosystem that is truly amazing, that it attracts startups from all over the world since 2017. UAE, mainly Dubai, is the center of the world for aviation startups at this moment. Which also makes a good ecosystem for local investors to look at it. It's hard, but when I look at the project, I will see if there is a commercial side of it. I'll give an example. We just invested in FlyU. This is a company that has a wearable for pilots, ATC, and engineers and cabin crew because of the stress life. So they measure your health, they measure underlying problems with AI, and will warn you if you have underlying problem that can save your career, that can save lives, that can save a lot of money to the company. And then the founder, to finish your question, the founder is very important. If it is a guy that has a grid and we can see that he can make it happen, this is where we join.
Frederico, thank you so much. Stay with us because we can't wait to delve further into it, because coming up, we'll be having an amazing guest coming on to discuss more about the aviation world and what's new and what's coming up. So see you soon.
Hey, my name is Junior Brown, and tonight I'll be singing Lose Control by Teddy Swims.